Hello everyone, it is a steamy hot day here in Michigan. I will include a clip of what my students did in the middle of the day. Actually, it was kind of towards the end of the day. But I wanted to talk about a book that I recently read called Ill Feelings by Alice Hattrick. And then I also maybe got some packages today that I need to unbox. So anyway, Ill Feelings is about a woman and her mom that have ME, which previously was called chronic fatigue syndrome. And it's people are kind of moving away from that because chronic fatigue just is kind of like a stigmatized term with a negative connotation, that people are just tired and lazy and all this sort of stuff. That's not really true. So in the case of her mom, basically her mom became ill, and after that is kind of when this chronic fatigue ME sort of thing started, and her daughter also ended up getting it as well. And it seems like from reading this book that a lot of times there is some sort of an illness that kind of triggers ME. And so this long haul COVID, which is discussed in this book as well, a lot of people are like, hey, is long haul COVID like just another name for ME, which we have been talking about for so long and no one has believed us, or is that completely separate? And it kind of sounds to me like they're similar, and basically in both cases you get an illness and then something happens to your body that just has it stay with you forever. So this book is just absolutely beautiful. I've tabbed a whole bunch of parts basically because she can write. Her writing is so wonderful. And so one of the things she talks about is just being diagnosed with something and like how validating it is, and at the same time how it doesn't really do anything. I don't know. So diagnosis is a naming exercise. It groups you together with others like you, turning your singular experience into one of many. But it's also a condemnation. Some have called ME, CFS, the trash can of diagnoses. And she just kind of goes on to say, like, if they don't know what's wrong with you or if they think you're faking it, you could end up with that. But yeah, I thought that was interesting about how it can validate you so much. There's kind of a lot of this in the book about like living in a disabled body or a chronically ill body and being judged by others. And also like I don't think she mentions spoons in this book, but this idea of like you only have so many spoons, and so you have to decide like what are my priorities today, and how she might choose to do something in a day that will knock her out for days and days after that. And like if you were, for example, to show up to a party or whatever, they would be like, oh, you're not sick, but going to that one party could put her out for a week. There's a lot of kind of that weighing, is it worth it, and always thinking about what other people think about you, which is unfortunate that you have to almost prove you're ill. One thing that was also a really interesting perspective is this whole COVID thing and pandemic and lockdown and all this stuff, and how frustrated some people got with the pandemic. But she was kind of saying, and I won't read the quotes just because I feel like I've gone on for a while, but she was kind of saying like the whole world slowed down and is finally at the same pace that a lot of the people who were ill or homebound or disabled or whatever, like they have been living in this for years, and we have finally slowed down to kind of match where they are. And in addition, because we all have experienced what lockdown feels like, there's a lot of things that are more accessible now that weren't before. And she doesn't talk about church or anything, but that's one thing I was thinking about. Like we have church online now, and you can go in person or you can go online, and that has continued after, I think, not after the pandemic, because it's still pretty much going on. Like people are still getting sick and stuff like that. But there are some benefits that we need to think about not going back to normal, but of learning from how have we created better accessibility for a lot of people, and what should we continue as we move forward. I'll just leave you with the very last bit about, almost the very last bit of this book. Crip joy is not the same as having a happy, disabled identity. To be cheerful in being disabled. Not every part of being disabled needs to be celebrated, including improvement in ability. The pressure to be happy, to say that your fatigue and pain are not awful, to not say, I feel like shit, is ableist in nature. The kind of ableism that is reflected in the willingness to make pain indescribable rather than undesirable or hard to hear, and the idea that to medicate oneself is an attempt of normalization, to succumb to the pressure to pass as abled rather than control your own pain. It is this kind of attitude that upholds the invisibility in invisible illness and the idea that you are not really ill at all. I would highly recommend this. It's a book that I'm going to keep just because I feel like if I was ever in a situation where I was living this kind of life, which you never know when it could happen to you, that this is something I would want to read again. So I have a few packages. I maybe made a few purchases that I probably shouldn't have, but also I was trying to buy a gift for somebody, and this is a book I thought I owned, but apparently I don't. What Doesn't Kill You. This is another book on illness that is very important, and I think everyone should read it. It's also horribly disgusting, but you know what? That's some people's life. So that's that. And then I was basically trying to buy gifts for my little nibbling that will be here in basically the end of July. And then I wanted to get free shipping, so then I added a few things, and then I probably got free shipping without adding a few things, and you know what? I just don't want to talk about it. But I will show you what I got. But in the meantime, while I'm trying to open this box, here's the situation, okay? Board books for babies. Let's talk about that. So I love all the diversity in books. I love all these like feminist baby books and diverse baby books and all this sort of stuff. But at the same time, when you're talking about board books, like for toddlers and younger, I'm wondering if the parents enjoy those books more than the kids. Because when you are like 1 or 2 years old, like, do you want to read a biography of some woman that lived before? Like, I feel like maybe those would be better as picture books for kids that are older than toddlers. And I get that you should expose kids to stuff from birth, but I guess what I'm trying to find is a balance between books that I think are cute and that I love and books that a baby would actually love. So let me know is basically what I'm asking. Let me know if you have any books that your grandkids or babies or anyone has absolutely loved. Like, what do these babies like? Not what would I like reading to a baby, right? So, I will show everything, I guess, because I don't think my brother or sister-in-law watch this. But one of my favorite authors for kids books is Steve Jenkins. He wrote Actual Size, which is like this picture book, and you can pull out like huge like alligators or crocodiles or whatever. Like all these animals are actual size in the book. So this is a board book, and it's one of those like that's slightly puffy, and it's just 100 animals. So I feel like this would be fun to look at. It looks like it even has some flappies, which I'm sure would get damaged pretty much instantly, but that's the point, right? It shows a kid loves the book. So anyway, I got that. I also got this one by him, Dinosaurs Roar. None of these I saw in real life before. Dinosaurs Run, Dinosaurs Swim. So I feel like that could be good as well. Sea Creatures Swim. Basically, I just got every board book that was by him, although my preference is for his older books. Then my sister-in-law is currently a Spanish immersion teacher. She's going to be taking next school year off so that she can spend a year with her baby. But I got some books in Spanish as well, you know, This looks way fun. Okay, anyway. And then this one, I don't know, it was in Spanish. I feel like, oh, this is actually probably kind of good because it just says like, you know, objects in Spanish. But this one, obviously it's by Eric Carle, but I've never read this book, so I didn't realize that it has the flippy floppy things, just like the Very Hungry Caterpillar. So that's kind of fun. Okay, cool. And then now we're to the books that I maybe bought for myself. So this is In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, which is a book I heard a long time about addiction, and I thought it would be interesting to read because I'm always interested in the tiny addictive sort of qualities about myself. Nothing major by any means, but just the tiny things. And also, like, I don't know, I just am really interested in mental health and finding out more about that stuff. And I also don't know if people think about how addiction can be present in children and the ways that I might see that in my students already, which is kind of unfortunate. This is The Recurring Crisis of American Democracy, 4 Threats. So, you know, gotta buckle up for the next election. Be prepared to fight. This is the second, Race and Guns in a Fatally Unequal America, I believe is what it says, but there's a stupid sticker. I need to see if I can remove that, but I don't think I can. We Have Been Harmonized, Life in China's Surveillance State. This will be super interesting to learn more about China and what it's like actually to live there. Capitalism in America, The Economic History of the United States. These all seem very dense. I'm not sure who would be interested in them besides me and, well, actually, maybe a few of you. Small is Beautiful, Economics as if People Mattered. I feel like that's important. Okay, I guess I do have 2 more baby books. So I think babies love looking at other babies. And so this is just babies with their emotions, which that's important too. And it looks like it is diverse with different races. I don't know if there's anyone with disabilities, but there's a lot of different types of color in here. So like that's a way to include diversity, I think, in children's books in a way that is still engaging to little guys. I'm all for the biographies. And if I had a kid, I would totally be buying them the biographies and stuff like that too. And then this one is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, but in Spanish as well. So yeah, that's it. All right. I am curious if there's any books that are on your summer wish list that you want to buy, that you're trying to show self-restraint about. And also, yeah, fill me in on what you guys think babies like as far as board books, and like what are some of their favorite books? Like, do they like the ones with babies or the ones with the animals, or I don't know, just fill me in. All right, I will see you guys later. Bye.